Hi.
So the story is close to you in your personal life. So you mentioned some of his characteristics, but what are some of those characteristics that are kind of yourself shining through in Marcel?
Well, I think that I am a very hopeful person, but I'm also very fearful. And I really reject the idea that the fear would cancel out the hope. I think the fear is something to pay attention to. It shows us, what we really want. It shows us what we want to happen. If we're afraid, for example, that will be, turned down, it means like, oh, you want to be accepted. And I think that's really, really good. It's sort of an inside out way of clarifying what you want for yourself. But I think it's still available. It's still a thing, and um, I also love to perform. I'm a performer and a friendly person. And I relate to the way that Marcel is just kind of like down to answer any question and wants to connect and doesn't overthink it. I think for better or worse, that's what I'm like. And, I really need a community around me. I really do. And I really, really am dedicated to trying to make each day really enjoyable for myself, even in tiny little ways. And I think Marcel's like that too.
So the movie showcases a side of the internet and social media community that not many people highlight, the negative outcomes of memes and trending and viral stories and the type of people that it can attract. So what was it that made you guys kind of go this route for Marcel's journey?
Well, we tried to follow the truth. I think that that is like what a big part of this is. We try to find the truth. And um, the fact is, like, Marcel did get put on the internet in this way and blow up. And we wanted to see like what that might feel like for him. And whereas I've never felt like, oh no, like too many people are watching me. I don't, one way or another, I don't think I've like really achieved that level of being like overexposed. I think that's a good thing. But I do think that in my own way, I became really concerned with or preoccupied with behavior that happens on the internet, and with the fact that like you can want so much from something that doesn't really have a mandate to give you that thing, or doesn't really feel an obligation to do that, or a responsibility. Like, in every way that it's wonderful that it's a group of people, it's also can be shocking and let you down that it's that same group of people. It is a real free for all out there. And I think, Marcel looking at it and being like, there's just so much nothing, is a feeling that a lot of people feel. And I think on the other end of that is like, there's so much nothing, there's so much nothing. I hope they give me something. I hope they give me something, and it keeps you going. But I know that I started to feel like this just doesn't do it for me. It's not giving me anything. I'm not getting it. I'm living off of scraps in terms of what this interaction is. At least for myself, I didn't like my own behavior. And so I took some time to really think about, when you're on the internet or when you're on social media, like, just think about what you're doing. Like, a lot of people just sort of mindlessly interact. And I think we wanted to show that it actually does matter what you do, and it matters to other people. And there are outcomes that really touch people. And sometimes that's great. And sometimes it's difficult.
I think that's such an important lesson to learn, and I'm glad people can take that away from this movie. Thank you.
Yeah. 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 Thank you.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi.
So Marcel obviously has been around for a while, has quite a fan base. What was the impetus for the Vimeo series kind of to begin with, which I know kind of ties into the last question a little bit about the creation of being a shell, but why a movie now after all these years?
Well, actually, for us, it just took this long to make the movie. We were making we made the first short film in 2010, and then after that, we made two books, and we made two more shorts, and that kind of took up about 3 or so years. And then by that time, we were like, we want to do more. We just want to expand the story. And so we found partners to help us make this movie. And the movie itself took 7 years. So it's not really like we did this thing 10 years ago and we kind of put it to the side and we walked away. We've actually been with it this whole time. It just was a slow process.
Hi, Jenny. I
Hi.
was cracking up at the end when all the other non-shell beings showed up. My daughter was dying, especially with the tampon.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh my God, Mom." And I'm like, "That's hilarious." So
Yeah.
can you share a little more about these characters and the decision to include non-shell beings in the story?
Yeah, I mean, well, everybody in a family or everyone in a community obviously does not look exactly the same. And it feels really like an opportunity for such fun. I was not the person that designed those creatures. There's a wonderful artist who worked with us on the film who designed all of those little characters. My favorites are the mouse pencil with like the little we like tacks, and I love the Cheeto mama with her Cheeto babies. And number one favorite is, of course, the tampon. I just love that tampon so much. But yeah, I mean, I think this film is a asking us constantly to break down what people say is the norm and offer something slightly different while saying, we promise you'll know exactly what it is. We promise you'll know exactly what it is. Maybe not visually, you'll see something new visually, but like in your heart, you'll know exactly what it is.
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, Jenny. So
Hi.
I know that with the distribution of the film and the fans of Marcel from previously, I'm hoping that maybe we'll see some new stories. I know one of the books you had previously, I think, is out of print.
Oh,
Is that something that we might be able to see more of in the future?
I do think
More
they're
books
reprinting
and
yeah, I think they're reprinting the books. I don't know if we'll make more books, but I know that I would love to continue to do Marcel the Shell film projects or TV projects. And I think it always relies on just finding the right partner, someone that is like going to let us do our thing. And I think this movie proves that we know what we're doing. But yeah, it really depends on that because I'm certainly down to do it. But I think Dean and I would really have to find someone who lets us do our work.
I thought it was great that you got Leslie Stahl to show up and interview Marcel, considering that was one of his and Grandma Connie's favorite shows. What was that like bringing her on?
Well, I think we were all very grateful to have Leslie and also, incredibly intimidated. She really is like she's a powerhouse. And she came onto our set with a full 60 Minutes crew that we asked her to bring so that it could be like the most, true to life representation of what it would be like to be interviewed on 60 Minutes. So she brought all of them and, she arrived ready to go. And it was really, really, really fun. It was, being Marcel in a totally new setting.
It was great. I loved it. It was a great surprise.
Thank you.